Hey guys, welcome back to NASCAR Fantasy Fastlane with Jessica Ruffin and NBC Sports' Steve Letarte. Steve, we're out of Sonoma, we're heading to Chicagoland, and you are back in the booth this weekend. How you feeling?
I'm ready. I got my old buddy Dale Jr. going to join me. It's going to be exciting to get back to covering some races on NBC.
All right, well, when we look at Chicago, it's an intermediate track, so let's look at the drivers who have been strongest on intermediates this year.
Yeah, when it comes down to the big three, the decision is Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex. Which one of those three do you plan on starting? When I look at my lineup, Jessica, it's very simple. I'm taking Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. They have won every mile-and-a-half track this season. And even though Martin Truex Jr. dominated the mile-and-a-half this year, and he has 3 wins so far in 2018, none of them have been at the oh-so-important mile-and-a-half tracks. So Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, they are both in my starting lineup.
Well, let's take a look at some of the other drivers on intermediate tracks, because there are some drivers at the top that are kind of surprising, primarily, notably to me, Joey Logano and Kyle Larson at the top there.
Yeah, when you look at how many points someone scored on the intermediate tracks, it's no surprise. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, they're at the top. We've talked about their domination. Kurt Busch, 168 points. Pretty decent, but not at the top. A clear 65, 70 points behind the leaders.
When you look at those statistics for intermediate tracks, is there a name on there that surprised you that's not on there?
Yeah, I was shocked to not see Chase Elliott. When you look at his numbers at Chicago, they are outstanding. He averages a 2.5 finish inside the top 3 for all of his races. As a matter of fact, he's never finished outside the top 10. So he is a must start heading to Chicagoland. Even though it hasn't been the best season for the Chevrolets, I think Chase Elliott's team is starting to turn it around. He's going to be in my lineup for sure.
When you look at Chicagoland, it's a mile-and-a-half track. Are there any unique characteristics about it? Are there any other tracks that you draw from that are similar to it?
Well, one thing I'm noticing this week about Chicagoland is, remember, folks, this is a major change in the schedule. Normally, they're later in the year. The track is a little bit cooler. Now we are in the dead of summer. The temps are supposed to be well over 90 degrees. A hot, slick, old, worn-out racetrack like Chicago is going to be very difficult. Because of that, I look at Kyle Larson. He's a driver that has great car control, loves to move around the racetrack. The conditions at Chicago should match his driving style perfectly.
Well, let's talk about points, because fantasy players always want to know what's a good points week. So for you at Chicago, what are you looking at?
More points than you, Jessica. That's basically a good points week for me.
Okay.
But really, anytime you get over 200, it's a good points week. A great points week is 250. But I've really found that with the garage pick, as long as I watch all race, make a good decision, swap out my driver before the end of stage 2, I can have a pretty decent lineup. It really comes down to those bonus picks. You have to get a qualifying pick in, and you have to get at least one of the stages, if not both. And the race winner, if you can have the race winner, that makes for a great week.
Is that a self-reminder there? Get your qualifying pick in?
I was setting my calendar as I was talking.
Well, you got to pay attention a lot this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's it. And actually, from the booth, I think I'll have a better view. I will be able to follow along. But it's going to be hard to make my garage switch. I'm going to be calling my son at home, telling him to make the change.
All right, who's your race winner pick?
When I look at the mile-and-a-half, I cannot look away from the 4 of Kevin Harvick. I know that seems like an easy pick, but the pavement is old and worn out, much like Atlanta, one of the Kevin Harvick's best racetracks. I look for the 4 to bounce back from that disappointment at Sonoma, victory lane at Chicago.
All right, well, we will see if Kevin Harvick and the number 4 team can get it done this weekend at Chicagoland. Be sure you guys set your lineups and tune into the race. Sunday, 2:30 p.m. on NBCSN.